Fall is officially upon us. You know what that means. Falling leaves, a chill in the air. It gets dark before you can finish your supper, but don't be disheartened. It's a perfect time to get into a great new book. Let's start with The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. In upstate New York, 1982, Viv Delaney wants to move to New York City. To help pay for it, she takes a job as the night clerk in the Sundown Motel in Fell, New York. But something isn't quite right at the motel. Something haunting and scary, and she cannot resist digging into the mystery. In upstate New York, 2017, Carly Kirk has never been able to let go of the story of her Aunt Viv, who mysteriously disappeared without a trace one night during her shift at the Sundown, before Carly was even born. She decides to move to Fell and visit the motel, where she quickly learns that nothing has changed in the 35 years since 1982. Soon she finds herself ensnared in the same mysteries that had intrigued her aunt. Something hasn't been right at the roadside Sundown Motel for a very long time, and Carly Kirk is about to find out why. The Lying Life of Adults by Elena Ferrante. Giovanna is having an identity crisis. Giovanna's pretty face is changing, turning ugly. At least so her father thinks. Giovanna overhears her admired and until now admiring father say to her mother that his daughter has grown ugly. He says she looks more like her Aunt Vittoria every day. Has she become like Vittoria, his sister with whom he broke off relations long ago, a woman in whom ugliness and spite were combined to perfection? Can it be true? Is she really changing? Is she really turning into her Aunt Vittoria, a woman she hardly knows, but whom her mother and father clearly despise? Surely there is a mirror somewhere in which she could see herself as she truly is. Unable to see the resemblance herself, Giovanna goes searching for an identity of her own in Naples, a city that offers neither the answers she craves nor an escape. And that brings us to Una, Out of Order, by Margarita Montemor. It's midnight on New Year's Eve, 1982, and Una Lockhart is about to turn 19. She has her whole life before her. She's got big decisions to make this year that will be pivotal to her future. Should she go to London to study economics, or remain at home in Brooklyn to pursue her passion for music and be with her boyfriend? But as the countdown to New Year happens, Una faints, and she wakes up 32 years in the future, in the body of her 50-something self. Every year she finds she jumps around to a new age, living her life out of order. Hopping through decades, pop culture fads, and much-needed stock tips, Una is still a young woman on the inside, but ever-changing on the outside. Who will she be next year? Philanthropist? Club kid? World traveler? Married to a man she's never met? If you love the idea of time travel, then this premise is fascinating. It's always surprising and heart-wrenching. This is an unforgettable story about the burdens of time, the endurance of love, and the power of family. That brings us to Red Letter Days by Sarah Jane Stratford. In McCarthy-era Hollywood, a young female TV writer with a promising career gets caught up in the hysteria of what is known as the Red Menace that shattered the lives of anyone suspected of being a communist. Phoebe Adler is pursuing her dream of being a screenwriter when she's accused of being a communist sympathizer and put on a blacklist. Desperate to continue in her chosen career, she flees to London to find work and to clear her name. And while in London, she meets a powerful American producer living in exile who defies the odds and hires blacklisted writers from America in spite of what it could do to her own career. It's a dangerous game, and while Phoebe struggles to continue, fight injustice, and to adjust to life in exile, neither she nor the woman who hired her realize the danger that still looms. It seems their fight is only just beginning. The Talented Miss Farwell by Emily Gray Tedrow. At the end of the 1990s, with the art market finally recovered from its disastrous collapse, Miss Rebecca Farwell has made a killing at Christie's in New York City. selling a portion of her extraordinary art collection for a rumored 900% profit. Dressed in couture, drinking the finest champagne at trendy Balthazar, Reba, as she's known, is the picture of a wealthy art collector. 1,000 miles from the Big Apple in the small town of Pearson, Illinois, Miss Farwell is someone else entirely. A quiet single woman known as Becky, who still lives in her family's farmhouse, wears sensible shoes, and works tirelessly as the town's treasurer and controller. No one understands the ins and outs of Pearson's accounts better than Becky. She's the last one in the office every night, crunching the numbers. Somehow her neighbors marvel she always finds a way to get the struggling town just a little more money. What Pearson doesn't see, and can never discover, is that much of the money is shifted into a separate account that she controls. Borrowed funds used to finance her art habit. Though she quietly repays Pearson when she can, the business of art is cutthroat and unpredictable. But as Reba Farwell's deals get bigger and bigger, Becky Farwell's debt to Pearson spirals out of control. How long can the talented Miss Farwell continue to pull off her double life? Last but not least, we have Exciting Times by Nisha Dolan. Ava said goodbye Dublin and hello Hong Kong, but life in the big Asian city isn't all that she thought it would be. Things begin to look up when she meets Julian, a wealthy man intent on spoiling her. Just as their relationship starts to heat up, he travels to London, leaving Ava to inhabit his apartment alone. She isn't looking for anyone else, but a chance meeting with Edith forces her to question her relationship with Julian, among other things. This isn't just a story about a love triangle. It's a politically alert, raw, and funny portrait that exposes the great freedoms and even greater uncertainties of love in this modern age, dissecting the personal and financial transactions that make up a life and a relationship. I hope you enjoy some of these great reads.